let's begin the show. The power of theater is immense. Theater serves as a mirror to our lives, revealing the truths of our existence, representing the elation and despair, love and loss. Joining me this morning are cast members of the play Papa Ute, a TZ Productions. Writer and Director Tazeen Zahida will share her journey as a writer, talk about the upcoming play, and we will chat with a few talented cast members who are here on Chai Time. Welcome, everybody. Good morning.
Thank you so much. Thank you for having us, Lin.
How are you doing this morning, Tazeen?
Alhamdulillah, I'm feeling great.
Good. It's Monday morning.
Yes.
So we need to be happy and bright and begin our week that way.
Hopeful.
On a positive note, right?
Hopeful, yes. Hopeful is the word.
Yeah. So today I'm really excited. We're going to spend an entire hour talking about your upcoming play. It's so exciting. I don't know much about it, so I really am going to, learn and get to know about it with our listeners. And I really cannot wait for you to share everything about the play, about yourself, and all the talented cast members that are here as well. So if you all are on Facebook Live, you will get to see all of them out there as well. All right, so Tazeen, let's begin with a brief introduction of yourself.
Okay, here comes the most difficult part for me. Thank you. First of all, I would like to thank you, Lin and Laila, for having me again here and letting me share the space with my wonderful cast members. My name is Tazeen Zahida, and I am a South Asian playwright based in Houston. I write plays in English and in Urdu. English is my adopted language, while Urdu is my mother tongue. I am extremely fortunate to have found people who inspire me right here in Houston to do something meaningful, something worthy. I'm happy to be here.
Good. So can you tell us about your experience as a playwright and the types of play you have written?
There is whenever you start to write a play, there is a great level of stress involved as to what subject you want to select to write about. The problem with theater making is that it is financially so not rewarding and emotionally and creatively so overtaxing than probably any other medium of performance that one has to think long and hard about what is the worthiest subject that you would choose and write about. So although I'm tempted, and asked to write just something that would make everyone laugh, just something that would be pure entertainment. But the problem is that as content creators, I think we have to own up to some level of responsibility. What are we subjecting others to watch and to listen to? And this is where it comes like talking about things that we don't really talk about. Problems faced by immigrants, people with multiple identities, and basically how difficult life has become for individuals and families and communities who would like to be associated with any certain level of values, set of values. Mm-hmm. So most of my plays have been about sometimes things doing with domestic violence, identity crisis, the social implications of migration or immigration, however you would like to put it. Mm-hmm. And mainly it's things that people don't regularly talk about in media. True. Because they're not sellable enough, they're not politically, motivated enough maybe. They don't have any isms connected with them most of the times. But I've been very fortunate to have found people who have supported me in this journey Yeah.
Yeah, that's wonderful because, and you're putting it all into, like into a play form, but that way people can relate as well. When they sit back and think, for instance, when I met you, it was at the Rose.
Yeah.
And it was the breast cancer, awareness month, and you had done a play on breast cancer of how families deal with someone who is going through that journey. But you did it so beautifully that while we were sitting and watching, it was like, oh my gosh, yeah, that is my family is going through, or this is what my friend is going through. And it just comes back, right? Because it's literally mirroring what we are going through in for anyone who's going through that breast cancer journey. So the way you put it, like you're trying to break that stigma of making it normalize your situations, talk about it with your family, be open, and things like that. And that was very beautifully done. I mean, I've not seen, you always invite me. I'm so sorry that I can never make it, but that one play, I always remember that because it was done so beautifully, so tastefully, so well that, and everyone, I mean, at that time, the whole room was just, that was full of applause for you. So
I'm so grateful for these words because this is the most, I think, least talked about of my work in last 7 years. It was mainly a volunteer project that we did for the Rose, but I think your words have made it probably the most rewarding experience I've had in theater. Sadly enough, our lives are dictated by divisions. Social, cultural, religious. My problem is that I would like to focus on things that bring us together, the commonalities, the universal sense of our problems. And since that is not a sellable point, that is not something sensational enough, it doesn't, get produced, and these things never get the right place in our media. And yes, the lumpy truth was that thing, and it from the time that when we conceived the idea, it was just for those of my friends who have not been with me when we did this. It was 3 5-minute dialogues because we were given 15 minutes by the organizers to put up a show. Of course, there was no pay involved, no money, and we did 3 short dialogues of 3 different situations that you deal with when someone is diagnosed with breast cancer. And yes, thank you for your praise, and I wish you would come and watch another of our upcoming play. Yeah,
and talking about the upcoming play, let's dive into that.
Thank you.
So what does the title of the play mean, and why did you give a French title to an English play?
Yes. Papa Uete is the title that I picked for this English play with a South Asian soul, as I call it. The play is mainly Papa Uete in French means Father, where are you? And it is basically about 4 friends, high school friends, and how they miss their fathers in their lives, and how not having them around makes them deal with lives and its curveballs differently. This is what mainly it is about, and I think 4 friends, their stories, their respective families, and the challenges they face culturally to be a part of the American society that they have chosen. Yeah, this is what it's mainly about.
Okay. And why do you think it is important to tell this story?
It is very important to tell this particular story because these are, like always, my subjects. This is one of those things we don't talk about. When we talk about alcoholism, we don't think about Muslims. When we talk about teenage pregnancies, we don't think about South Asians at all. And even when we know that these things are very prevalent, going on around us everywhere, we somehow shy away from addressing these things, addressing these problems as our own. My biggest challenge was to make this sensitive narrative and not make it into a sensational piece of writing or performance. And we have tried, and I hope that Houston theater folks are gonna appreciate this. Alhamdulillah, I have had great appreciation in the past for my plays, and I just, a play is like something, taking your kid to the school for the first time, or taking your kid out of the hospital for the first time, and you don't know if everyone is gonna love them or whatever they're gonna say. What a monster you have brought into this world! So we really don't know. But anyways, this is what it is.
All right, so you do have some of your actors here, and so will you introduce them to us, please?
Yes, luckily enough, I would say if I have one superpower, it is to attract the most talented people in Houston. and on my right there is Hannah Dargahi. Hannah is new to TZ Productions, and I have Khurram Hamid. Am I going to go one by one or right?
Both of them together.
Okay.
Yeah, that's fine.
And Khurram Hamid. Khurram is someone we have been working with for almost five some years, and I would let them tell about their experiences, about their roles in the play. Over to you, Hannah.
Hannah.
Hi, I'm Hannah.
Hi, Hannah.
Nice to meet you. I'm so happy to be here.
Yes, we're happy to have you here as well. So, Hannah, share with us your role in the play.
So I play Maria. Maria is a young Middle Eastern girl who, her parents are immigrants who came to America, and she's growing up kind of trying to discover who she is as the daughter of an immigrant who is trying to navigate American culture and just kind of trying to navigate her friendships with her peers. And so this is kind of the story of how Maria goes from, understanding her girlhood and understanding her relationships to men and to her American culture, to stepping into her power as a woman and really kind of understanding who she is as a woman and not really letting, boys or men define her worth as a woman. And I think Tazeen said something really great about how we live in a world of divisions. And I feel like Maria's story really kind of highlights her discovery that there is divisions in her life, especially between her and the boys. And yeah.
That sounds so powerful. It's a really powerful role.
I think it's a great role. When Tazeen gave me the script and I read it, I was like, wow, this was written for me. And I feel like I can really do her justice and bring her story to life from my own experiences and my experience of, understanding my place in the world as a girl and soon enough stepping into womanhood. And so I'm actually just very excited for this piece. It's deep, it's raw, it's emotional, and I think it's inspirational in many ways, and I'm just really excited.
Khurram?
Hi, my name is Khurram. I've been with TZ Productions for a while now, and every play I've done with her, I've always enjoyed it, and it's every character is always different, and me as an actor, it gives me this. I'm very fortunate to have that, to play all these different characters, and even in this play, fortunately, I'm playing two different characters, and they're both very intriguing and different from one another, which gives me an opportunity to understand both of the characters' depths and what they're doing and why they're doing. So I'm playing Ahmed, and I'm also playing Zen. And Ahmed is the protagonist, and Zen is the antagonist. So two opposite sides. But stepping into both characters and understanding both of them in depth, I think that to me is a challenge. But also I enjoy these sort of challenges.
Right.
and I kind of put myself into test. They're both suffering from losses, friendships, and have these choices that they have to make. And as the play goes on, you get to see a lot of those choices come into play.
Yeah. So how's your experience been so far?
So far, it's been great. Every time I read the script, I leave being in a different world because I go into the script too much, and I'm following the storyline pretty closely. So every time I'm done with rehearsing, and every time I'm done, so I don't always just only rehearse. What I do is, other than rehearsals, I'm reading the script on my own as well and preparing myself. So every time I do that, I stay in that zone for a while. And I remember just a couple of days ago, I was reading the script and I had family over, and they were outside and I was inside the room alone, and I was reading the script. And then when I came back outside, I couldn't really, indulge with them for like 10 minutes. I had to bring myself back into reality. And that's just how I am. That's sort of an actor that I am. I'll dive into it too much.
Okay. And so do you get your family to kind of, while you're rehearsing or doing the script, do you get your family involved?
I actually am very nervous in front of my family. I don't rehearse in front of them. I
hope they're going to come to the play.
So performing is different.
Okay.
Performance, I don't care who is in front of me.
All right.
But when I'm rehearsing at home, I don't rehearse in front of them. If they're in another room and I'm conscious of their hearing me.
Oh.
And I usually tell them like I need to rehearse. I'll go somewhere else and do the rehearsals because I'm always feeling like I'm being judged, and I don't mind being judged, but not from family.
They have the biggest critiques, right?
Yeah.
They do.
How about you, Hannah? How has your experience been so far?
So with rehearsing and
Yes.
so obviously memorizing lines, but for me, I've kind of been sitting with the script in meditation and really trying to connect emotionally, kind of psychologically with what Maria is going through, because like Tazeen was saying, we don't want to sensationalize it, and so I'm trying to really dig deep and find that part of me that can kind of connect with her, because instead of sensationalizing it, my goal is to really show how she just becomes so small from all of the traumas and the pains that she experiences in life. And that's kind of a common thing that us women go through, is that whenever life kind of gets really intense or scary, or we just kind of go within, we get small, we try to hide, and that's kind of, I feel like that's the opposite of what I'm doing in the play, because like as an actor, you have to really let it out and be vulnerable and like let strangers and let the world kind of see that deeper part of you that only you really get to see, because like family doesn't ever see that really. And so I really want to show that part of me, because there are scenes where she's in her bedroom alone and she's processing a lot of the things that she's going through, trying to come to terms with how her friends have treated her and how she can move forward and how her actions will affect her mom and her sister. And so I'll be sitting with the script and I'll be meditating and I'll just start crying, because I'm like, God, like, how can I do her justice? And like, how can I do myself justice? And how can I do, young girls justice? Because Maria's story is not foreign to any culture in the world. Like, what she goes through, girls have a story to tell very similar to Maria. Anyone that you probably meet, like, high school's tough for girls. And so I've just been trying to connect to that part of me, that high school version of me from like 10 years ago. It's been a long time, but yeah.
And probably 10 years ago it wasn't as challenging,
Yes.
or because there are so many, so much has changed 10 years ago being in high school. Like when I think my kids were in high school, just something small was a huge thing, but now we have so many other things with, the drugs and the guns and peer pressure and
Yes.
all of the other things
Bullying.
combined.
Bullying is a thing.
That's so
Bullying
huge.
is very real.
Yeah,
Very
it's
real.
so real, and it's still like how these teenagers able to, you know, communicate with their parents or family members and things like that. Yeah.
Yeah, because I remember I was kind of the first, not the first, maybe first, second generation to get social media. Like, I remember getting Instagram in middle school, and just the way it changes you. Just the way, like, I remember a distinct difference version of me before social media versus after, and these kids are so young.
Yeah. Her son's going to high school, so, you know.
The good thing with the script is it kind of took me to high school too, and now I'm thinking of all the memories that I had in high school and trying to pull it from there and just put it into the play.
Yeah, that's amazing. So what inspired each of you to do this play?
Sure. I think the storyline and as Tazeen said, the challenges that we face as a culture and immigrants that are coming over here. I remember when I came into middle school, actually, I didn't know anybody here, and actually didn't want to be here. I wanted to go back to Pakistan. And when I got into high school, same thing. I had only a few friends. I didn't used to talk to anybody, and I brought up bullying. And I feel like I was bullied too, but I was always very tough. Like, I would fight back. So even the bullies would get scared of me.
Oh, wow.
So, and I think that's one thing that you know, you should always know when to fight back. I'm not, you know, encouraging to fight, but you should know when to stand up for yourself.
Right.
And I connected to a lot of that through this script story, and also, she mentioned the father figure's missing, and I think that's a very key thing in I think in any culture, to have that father figure. I don't know if that's nowadays that's being received well, because nobody talks about fathers now, and in this play we're talking about that father figure being missing and how important that is. Just to have that not figure, how can it change your life? And according to this play, there are 4 different scenarios, because there's four different people, and how their lives are being changed just by that person not being there. So that really inspired me to do this play.
Okay. Hannah?
Other than kind of bringing justice to her story, I really wanted to challenge myself as an actor. I feel like this is very different material than what I'm used to. And I love acting. Like, I think it's so much fun. I think it's very honest work. And, you know, I think if you're able to act, I think it's important to share stories, because we live in a world where if we don't have certain experiences, we become very closed-minded.
Correct.
And I think that's what makes art really important, is that we can sit and watch art. And that's why I think it's very important for people of color to keep sharing their art and keep sharing their stories, because we do live in a country where, at least when I was growing up, I didn't really ever see anyone who was Middle Eastern or South Asian. And I remember growing up always thinking, why does no one look like me? Why is no one telling my story? And that's what really drives me as an actor, is that I don't want a little girl or a little kid or a boy to grow up thinking that, because representation in media is extremely important. It helps so much with self-esteem. It helps so much with letting kids know that certain stories or certain experiences or certain, you know, opportunities are not meant for just one group of people. And that's kind of why I want to do this. This is why I'm doing this. And I feel like this play really calls to me in that aspect.
Yeah.
Also, now I am to the point where anytime Tazeen reaches out to me, I will say yes to her. Because I've worked with so many times with
Without
her.
reading the script?
Without reading the script.
Wow.
Unless I don't have dates. But other than that, I would just say yes to her.
As I said, I'm very lucky.
Yes, you are. You're really lucky, blessed to
Yes.
have such talented, and you know, like they're talking with so much passion.
Yes.
And they really want to put their all into this play, which is so amazing.
Yeah, this is what it is. There is no other medium in performing arts that is so deeply and entirely passion based than theater, because there is very little gain otherwise to make from it than to just find this, satisfaction that you have effectively told a story that was worth telling. And that's your reward, and that's your award, everything. And yeah, I'm grateful to these young kids who are finding time with jobs, with programs that they're doing. It's tough.
Yeah.
It's tough for young actors. Yes.
Yeah. How do you get inspired?
I get inspired by the sheer fact that when I am in a room full of theater makers, I don't see anyone like me. When I go through any programs in a festival, I don't see any of my stories represented. Just like these kids didn't find people looking like them in spaces they were. I didn't find, like, I was in Chicago early 3 weeks back, and it was Theater Communication Group's TCG, biggest American theater conference. I can't tell you what a convention it was, and so many people. Throughout the 3 days, I didn't find anyone with my identity. When I say with my identity, is like a South Asian woman who happens to be a Muslim. So that's nowhere, like, finding South Asian is difficult. South Asian woman is twice difficult, and believe me, impossible to find a South Asian Muslim woman. Believe me, it is impossible. So this is my biggest inspiration to give my perspective, to tell my stories as accurately and inspiringly that I can tell.
Yeah. And so what are the main challenges you face?
Not having a space of my own is one of the challenges. Not having enough community support is another challenge. Not having, I would say, people know about us, marketing, just reaching out to them and letting them know, okay, this is something we do, and this is something worthy of your time and buck. That is a challenge. So our audiences, as you have asked, is still, I would say, 60-40. 60% is people of South Asian or maybe some Arab origin, very little. But the rest of the 40% is still a mixed race audience. People have so much given up on the South Asian folks to support theater that and I'm talking about marketeers, that they have advised me I should be chasing those who are the 40% rather than going around, asking people from my own community, which I feel is quite tragic. It is very tragic to think that we ourselves are not interested in our stories being told, and we are so numb with the cultural, I would say, invasion of Western media generally, that we don't even protest, say anything. And I'm sorry, this is an English program, but I cannot but help quoting Iqbal, the great poet, at this point, like, "Why nakami mataye karawan jata raha? Why nakami mataye karawan jata raha? Karawan ke dil se ehsaas-e ziyan jata raha." Which means, in a nutshell, that our loss is not that we have lost something. Our loss is that we have lost the sense of loss. As a community, as a nation, we have lost this sense of loss. Yeah.
Wow. We have to go on a break, but we'll definitely come back to that. Let's go on a short break, and when we return, we will continue our conversation. This is Chai Time, 103.5 Hum FM. Welcome back to Chai Time on 103.5 Hum FM. And those who have just tuned in, we are in conversation with Tazeen, and we have 2 new cast members on now for the latter half of the show. Tazeen, so I know we talked about the play, and give us the title of the play again, and then introduce your actors to us.
Thank you so much, Lin Lin. The title of the play that we are bringing this summer is Papa Uete, which means Father, Where Are You? The title is French, but believe me, the play is English. And yeah, there is a lot of like marketing challenge out there, but I think we'll all come out of it very soon. So I'm fortunate enough to have Johnny Miles with me, Johnny Miles Bynum.
Yeah.
And we are working with him for the second time. Last year we did Forget Me Not with Johnny, and having him again on the cast explains that how irreplaceable as an actor and a performer he is in our little theater world. And I would let him talk about this. And then there is Sabrina. Again, I thank my lucky stars to have found these very talented young people. I would let them do the talking now.
All right, Johnny.
Yeah, like Tazeen said, my name is Johnny Miles. I play Ali in this production. She speaks very highly of me, and I very much appreciate her words of kindness. Ali, I would characterize him as just glue. I mean, he is a character who obviously, as Khurram said it in the last segment, his father isn't there, and you can see the characters, how they get affected by that person not being there. But Ali, he doesn't really get to feel that and really like revel in the moment that his father is just not there, because he's holding everything together. He's trying to hold the relationship between his mother together, trying to hold his friendships together, trying to just be a neutral party to all of these different people without really doing that for himself. So, and as somebody who came from a broken household, product of divorce, I can definitely relate to that. Tazeen has definitely put pen to paper, all those emotions and all those sentiments, and just, it's almost like she put my thoughts of when I was going through the situations on paper. So it's definitely good that I get to tell that story and tell that side of a story like that and a character like that.
Sabrina? Sure.
Hi, everybody. My name is Sabrina Mohit, and thank you for having us. So I play 3 roles in this. So one of my roles is of a mother, a South Asian mother, and I also play the role of Hannah's sister, which is Maria's sister, and my name is Syra. And I also get to play the role of a theater teacher. So the mother is your South Asian mother who is trying to juggle it all, be all things to all people, and kind of be an advocate for her son, but also trying to function within the cultural norms and restrictions and religion and all of that, trying to stay within that, but also be an advocate for her child and kind of finding that happy medium. The sister that I play is more of it's a role that I can relate to. It's a protective, a loving sister who understands how the world operates, who understands people's intentions behind their actions. And as a younger sibling, maybe my sister doesn't see it. So because you understand the ripple effects of your decisions, because she understands how men operate, she's trying to have, her sister keep her eyes wide open. So she's that protective sister. The teacher is the teacher we all wished we had, who believes in you, sees things in you that you may not see or are not sure about, and kind of boosts your confidence. She has enthusiasm for teaching, and she's excited about what she does. And I have to say, I was blessed to have that teacher in my life, and I'm hoping to bring some of that on stage.
Wow. So how has the experience been so far?
Johnny?
Oh, yeah. Like Tazeen said, this is the second time I've worked with her, and it has been just a grateful experience to work with such talented actors. I myself am not South Asian, so the fact that I was able to help tell these stories and help the communities see these stories and see what this community goes through, because obviously myself, I don't know. And Tazeen has been very gracious, very welcoming, and just I think the last play I did, she said I was an honorary Daisy. So, and I have honestly kept that with me, and that's why I always will say yes to working with Tazeen.
And funnily enough, you know that he has reminded me, like there were some Urdu words in the script that he had to do last year.
Oh, yeah.
And of course there was mention of, you know, where there are South Asians, there's mention of biryani, and of course we all have our dadi, and of course there is a lot of talk about everyone's shadi. So
Three words there, dude.
so we were talking about this, you know, in an event day before yesterday, and I told him, now you know Urdu as well. He said, I only know 3 words. Manika, believe me, these are the 3 most important words. These are the 3 most important words. If you know them, you are good to go.
Absolutely.
You know?
Oh yeah, she was not wrong. Biryani is great.
Yeah. Biryani is great.
It's the best.
It is the best. My gosh.
So
yes, the experiences has been great. Yeah, it's been pretty good.
Sabrina?
So this is my first time working with Tazeen. I've seen her productions before, and when I had the opportunity to join her and this wonderful cast, I couldn't say no. It's been fabulous. I get to share this with my kids. I get to share this with my family. We're big on theater, and they get to see their mom in a different capacity. It's been absolutely exciting. I will say it is a lot of work, and when you're juggling different hats, but it is more than worth it.
Yeah. Wow. And you have your kids here.
Yeah, you can see I'm literally juggling this right now.
On this side. Say hi to everyone out here.
would you like to?
If you want to say hi, come on.
Yeah. The mic is all yours. Take it.
Hello,
Hi. You want to give your name?
I'm Kyle. I'm the son of Sabrina Mohit.
And what do you want to say? You want to say hi? And this is Minna, and she's 5, and Mikhail's 10.
Beautiful,
Thank you.
beautiful names.
But that shows, I feel like, you know, as a South Asian mother, I know how hard it is to juggle, and that just shows the dedication and the compassion you have to bring them here and still be on the show, right? So I'm sure that's challenging, but it's rewarding.
It's a commitment,
Yeah,
yes,
yeah.
That just shows what theater means to us.
Yes.
Yeah.
Yeah.
So when y'all practice at home, do y'all do it with family? Like, you know how Kuram was saying, he doesn't do it with family. He can't handle all the criticism.
Yeah, absolutely not. I have never echoed a sentiment more in my life. Yeah, it's so weird. It's basically just reading it to yourself over and over and over again. I have a lot of practice with talking to myself, so it's basically just that, and really getting that in your head, getting a feel for your character, getting a feel for the story and his part, or his or her part in that story, and that's just what it is. I know for me, I need to isolate sometimes to really divulge in the character and really dive into the character and really get into character.
Okay. And so besides theater, what else do you do?
Oh, I mean, like Sabrina said, we wear many, many hats. I daylight. I'm currently touring in a yo-yo show, so that's I perform for kids on a daily basis. So it's anything with creative expression is what I do and what I love to do.
I would just tell here that Johnny is a regular artist with Main Street Theater, one of the most respected names in theaters here in Houston. I would say that they are really good at what they do, and I saw Johnny perform in one of the plays there, and that is where I thought I wish I can have him act in one of my plays. So that's where we actually saw him performing, and of course he's a great performer. He's being very humble.
She did not tell me that.
Yes.
Now she's saying it on air. It's official. How about you, Sabrina?
How do I practice?
Yeah.
So for rehearsals, when I get ready for them, I practice on my own.
Okay.
My husband is great at giving me feedback. So whether or not you ask him, you do well with this, but you don't do as well with this one. And then I really hold it, and then I start texting the group and asking the group, what do you think? Could I do this better? Could I do this? Because it's coming from him.
Right.
He's very vocal with feedback in terms of performance, just like acting and theater. Yeah, he's really big on it. So I don't mind performing at home with him and kind of running lines, by him. But I also run lines with the kids.
That's so cute.
So they know, we know how to do it together, and so we run lines together, but also with my husband. So I love having the feedback and having someone to share it with.
Oh,
Yeah.
that's
Great.
so cool.
Great.
At least somebody enjoys it. Remember the one time I actually asked my mom to practice my lines. She's like, oh, no, I don't know anything about theater. I don't know if I can do that. 5 minutes in, okay, so you're doing this wrong, you're doing that wrong. I'm just like, okay, all right.
I think women in general get feedback really
Oh,
well.
absolutely. She's been right 95% of my life, so I'm not going to start now to not listen to her.
Yeah. Yes.
So when I walked into the building this morning, I said to my kids, this is so-and-so, this is so-and-so, because they know the roles, they know the actors,
Great.
Yeah. So y'all are like family because
Yes.
y'all are family
Yes.
because
Yes.
y'all spend
Yes.
quite amount of hours
Oh,
together.
absolutely.
Absolutely.
And but how is it like? Give us like the scenario. How does the rehearsing go when everyone's together? I mean, it must be a lot of fun too, but
Yeah.
at the same time,
Stay
how
on
does
track.
it?
Oh, absolutely.
Yeah.
Yeah, that's, since we're all
I
artists.
think Johnny makes
yeah.
everyone laugh.
He does.
I definitely try to. Yeah, we're all artists. We're all very like-minded people. So whenever we get into a room together, it's hard to contain that. It's hard to, once we get on a topic that we're passionate about, which as artists we tend to be passionate about most things. So it's very, I won't say difficult, but there is the time to work and the time to put on our actors' hats to really sit down and start working,
Yes.
So, but yeah, I mean, that's what rehearsals is, just creating and finding out what works for our dynamic and really throwing things to the wall and seeing what sticks.
Yeah.
Yeah.
And I would just add that even in those moments when we're not task-oriented, we're building our relationship, we're building that vibe,
Yeah.
that energy. I think one day Hannah's puppy made an appearance at
Yeah.
rehearsal. As you'd imagine, one day my daughter made an appearance. I think that also builds on that relationship, which helps meet our end goal. So even though it's not time spent on the task specifically, we are still making progress.
And that really shows on
Yeah.
stage as well.
Yeah.
And I think they're all, the actors are great people. Of course, my cast is extraordinary, I would say they are. But one thing we do, which is not very usual thing among theater rehearsals, is that we make it a point that we have tea, coffee, or something, together. Something that is not actually rehearsing. So that brings everyone together. People who don't know each other, people who never met before, they say, okay, I'm going to have this tea. We have different types of, I intentionally put this, like this is a whole big plan I have. Different types of teas because I'm, of course, South Asian, and coffee. And by the time we finish rehearsals, everyone has a favorite tea bag and everyone has something that they would like or not like to have. So that's just one extra thing we do once we are done with the virtual month of rehearsing, which we are into right now. The first month is virtual thanks to the pandemic for this one thing that we have learned to operate virtually. and then everyone knows their lines, as you were talking about how we do this. Yes. So the first month is done basically on learning the lines, the entire script, and being off book, as we call it in theater. And then comes the second part when we start to block the play. And blocking means who will stand where. And Johnny can talk more about it. I'm just letting you know how the the production process takes place. And this is slightly stressful because time is limited, space is limited, and people are tired from whole day of work. Mostly this is what they do as something they do after their regular jobs. So and you need energy, and of course tea and coffee does help, but you need a lot of passion. You know, and people are at times, and this is where I would salute my artists, that there are times when people are driving for an hour to be at the rehearsal space. Though we do have a very central location for rehearsals, but not, you know, at least 2 people are driving an hour each time when we have a cast finalized. At least 2 people, like last time, Afshan Jilani was driving an hour from all the way from north. So what I'm trying to tell you is, when you come and you watch a 90-minute performance with a very less known, I would call myself less known, and despite my age, I would call myself an early career playwright. You know, you come to watch a 90-minute show, you have, believe me, no idea that a cast of 10 people have worked on this project for at least 3 months. You know, and the words that you are listening to, or maybe not finding convincing enough, like, you know, Shania Twain, don't impress me much. So, you know, yeah. So those words and those lines have been pondered upon, have been, you know, cruelly, you know, written, rewritten, and for 6 months. For 6 months, I work on a script, and then as I said, I bring this baby to the world, and I completely own any shortcomings, any flaws that exist, primarily because English is not my first language. And this is what I tell all my actors who do not speak English as a first language, that this is not the language of my forefathers. Ye mere baap dada ki zaban nahi hai. So I don't care. I'm not precious about this at all. Yes, what I care about is to have it, you know, conveyed in the manner it is written. That's it. And I don't, there was a time that I got really touchy when people used to criticize anything that I do. I tell them, we are doing something impossible. We are making theater in a language that 3-4 generations before us, nobody spoke in our family. Right. So this is something of great credit. I refuse to be apologetic about any shortcomings or sort of flaws in the thing. This is a badge of honor that I wear with much pride, what I have created. And my cast, who mainly are speaking English as a second language.
Yeah. I'm so glad that you're here, and the actors are here, because while we are talking, it also, a lot of people, it hits them that there's so much, there's a lot of work put into this. Mm-hmm. It's not just, it doesn't, it's not easy. No work is easy. That's including theater. And theater, I think, is one of the most difficult thing to do, like acting, play, the plays and everything. Just starting from you creating a script to bringing it out, for the audience to see. So a lot of hard work is put into it. A lot of passion is all in there. And that is why we want to, bring this awareness and encourage people to come out and watch plays, and encourage people to come and show their support for theater, because that is so important. We don't want that to, be forgotten. And
thank you so much, Lin, for your kind words. I think the biggest challenge as South Asian BIPOC theater maker is convincing people that what we are doing is work.
Yeah.
It may not pay enough. It may not run my kitchen or my cast member's kitchen, but believe me, it is hard work what we are doing. Yeah. So just making people realize that playwriting or writing generally, acting and performing is work. Is very difficult. Generally for South Asians, especially for our Muslim brothers, it is very difficult for people to understand, because the word drama or play translates to khel in Urdu. And khel means actual play. So believe me, it is not what you think it is.
Yeah. So share the details with us about the play.
Let me ask Johnny to do the honors. Tell the date, the venue, and the ticket link about where they can find. Can you?
Yeah, absolutely.
Thank you. Sorry to have put you on the spot.
Oh, no, you're absolutely fine.
But this is what I do. As a director, I put people on spot.
Yeah, another reason why I love working with Tazeen. She's so unapologetically herself. And she really means what she says and says what she means in her writing on and off stage. But about the show. Yeah, Papa Oete is playing at the Match from August 30th, 31st, and September 1st. You can get the tickets on Match's website. It's the Midtown Arts and Theater Center for Houston over in Midtown. So you can catch us there to see all of us do this hard work on stage.
Thank you.
Okay.
Of course, yeah, thank you.
And I know a lot of people have been, also supporting you. There are some. So would you like to, on air, thank them?
Yes, I would really like to thank some of the people who have really. I know they won't like me telling their names, but I would still do this because they're my friends, they're my family members. They are people who have made it possible for me to continue the work that was impossible to continue without their help. So I would like to mention, of course, my friend Nafshi Chirania, my friend Sombula Khan. This is no Oscar, so I wouldn't say my family, my husband. But yes, these people and Dr. Khalid Rizvi, and of late we have befriended someone in a very different space, which is called AJ Society Texas. And we have found a great friend in the director Michael Buning. And he has been amazingly kind and gracious towards our quest of telling these stories that are to be told. And yes, Performing Arts Houston, Bauer College of Business, and Dr. Kumawala, and Mr. Tamiz and family. These are people who are helping us in one way or the other. In Urdu, there is a saying, dame darme sukhane, which means that not everyone can do the same thing for you, but everyone can do something for you. Dame means when you support financially, darme means when you do something physically for somebody, and sukhane means when you just say something. Word of mouth rules, everybody. Tell people, tell your friends, there is a play coming up.
Yeah, and we'll be definitely sharing the flyer too on our social media page, and be happy to share it on that and even announce it when it's closer to the day, just to remind people, get your tickets.
And the tickets are on 55% extended 4th of July discount thanks to Storm Barrel. Please make use of this and get your tickets.
Awesome. So before we wrap up, any closing remarks or message for our listeners? Johnny, Sabrina?
One thing I think about is that when you have, when we're in this space on stage in a theater setting, there's very few spaces where you get to sort of almost control or command emotions. And in that moment, we get to, as actors, performers, we get to sort of command the emotion of the audience in that moment. It is, when you guys were speaking of work, it is a lot of work. It's really a labor of love. And we really, really hope that people come out to see it and support us and support the theater industry overall.
Absolutely. Yeah, as everyone said, it can be a thankless job sometimes, and all we have is what we put on stage. And that makes us very prideful of what we do as artists, as actors, playwrights, anybody who's involved in theater and in a show. So when an audience member comes to see that, they're going to see all of that hard work come into that.
Okay, wonderful. Thank you so much, everyone. Thank you for joining me here on Chai Time this morning. It was so wonderful to meet you all and have this chat with you all. It was fun. I really enjoyed it.
Thank you.
I felt like
Thank
I was part of the play.
You are.
Welcome to the reversal room right here.
Yes, you have been. You have been. you have been, you have supported us like feeding our cast and crew in our last play was very generous of you, and yes, it saved me from cooking biryani for 10 people every day.
Oh man, come on.
Sorry, you have to eat Chinese one day.
That was an option. I would have chosen that.
No, you guys have been very kind. Thank you, Leila. Thank you. And I'm really grateful to you guys for having us over. Thank you so much.
Thank you. Thank you, listeners, for tuning into Chai Time. We shall see you same time, same place next week. Signing off, Chai Time, 103.5 Hum FM.